What ignited your passion for cycling?
When I was around 11 or 12 years old, I watched the Tour de France on TV, and since then I've just wanted to become a cyclist. So I went to my uncle. He had an old steer road bike. I asked him if I could borrow it for a few days. Went out on it, started cycling 20, 30K a day, and then started joining a cycling club, and actually just progressed from there. Once I joined the cycling club, I wanted to start racing, done my first races, never finished a race for the first season. Then I joined another cycling club that was a bit more serious on the training side, started training more seriously. And then that's when the results came, started making top 10s, top 5s, the podiums. And I literally just progressed from there. Joined then the regional teams in Germany, where I've grown up all my life. And I progressed from there. And then Junior World Championships, hit a world record for my position in the team sprint. And that opened up the doors to join Great Britain. My dad was based in Germany with the British Army. That's why I have the British and the German passport. And for me to ride with Chris Hoy in the team, it was a dream come true. And then, I just decided straight away, 18 years of age, move over to Manchester and ride for Great Britain.
And how did you determine sprint over long distance then?
You just find what you're good at when you're young. I wasn't really progressing that well on the road cycling side. I was quite big and muscly for my age. And that's where I started going to the velodrome and became a sprinter. And you just, when you're good at something, when you win a race, when you make podiums in the track race, you just say, look, I want to do this because I'm good at it. So started training seriously for sprint cycling.
And what sort of speed would you go at sprint?
Oh, he hits up to 80k an hour on the velodrome.
Wow.
Yeah. If you chase a motorbike, which we do quite often in training to train over speed, you go 85, 86. But then the track is a limitation. If you go any faster than this, your tires puncture and you slide out because the track isn't really designed for the speeds we go. So
the maximum speed will be 80k, then you'd have tire problems and.
Yeah, it's quite risky then. That's why when you race in altitude at 2,000 plus meters, you go a lot faster because the air density is a lot lower. So you hit higher speeds. And that's why you see a lot more crashes and punctures and stuff like this.
Well, I'm looking to average 15, 16 miles per hour on a static bike. So that puts me to shame. What were your greatest challenges on the route to the Olympics? I mean, that's incredible to achieve getting there from where you were. What were the greatest challenges?
I quite like a challenge, so I didn't really see it held me back. But probably later in my career, or even throughout the whole athlete's career, is probably injuries. You want to be able to consistently train, keep improving and training, and setbacks like an injury where you have to miss 2 weeks of training and slowly work your way up again. That's probably the biggest.
And were the common injuries you suffered? Was it knees, hips?
Knees, hips, back pain. So track sprinters are pretty much just weightlifters. So you go over 200 kilos for many reps on the squats, leg press, deadlifts, all this kind of stuff.
What would you lift on a deadlift?
Deadlift, I've done T-bar, so it's 250, 260 with 4 reps.
Wow. But what would your body weight be?
I was racing at 80 to 82 kilos.
Wow, okay.
So we are squatting. I was squatting 2.5 kilos, nearly 3 kilos, my body weight.
3 times
so
your
body
weight.
Yeah. So we were.
That puts me to some shame.
So it's serious training. So I had it quite a few times, or quite often. You go in the morning, you see the physiotherapist, and you're actually scared for a gym session because you have to, try and survive this gym session.
Yeah,
trying to dig deep to be able to lift it.
I did my practice ride a week ago, and I did 4 hours on the bike. And I go to gym every morning, but I stretch. I've learned that stretching is a really important element of what you do. And I came off with horrendous knee pain. So that's the thing I'm going to try and deal with in my challenge. How did you alter anything in your approach for the second Olympics? I mean, to do one is amazing. To have the motivation and desire then to do that again a second time, and 4 years you're training for, are you? What would the gap be between Olympics? Would you start straight away?
Yeah, pretty much. I've taken. I didn't take a big enough break after London. That was a big mistake, because then you start getting the Olympic blues after, pretty much mid-season in the summer, and you just want to go nights out and celebrate, especially when you're 19.
Was that 2012, that one, wasn't it?
2012, I was 19.
That was the London Olympics.
Yeah, and then Rio 2016.
So would you have done 4 years training before 2012?
No, I only started cycling 4 years, literally 4 years before London. So it happened really quickly. London Olympics weren't on my, I wasn't even thinking about it, but I just progressed. January 2012, I started progressing really, really quickly in training, and started going faster than all the other guys that were going for the same position. And they gave me a shot in Melbourne at the World Championships in April, and I went really well there, performed well, and they selected me for the London Olympics. So it happened all within 4 or 5 months.
Okay, so an inbuilt talent, I would say then. Natural speed, a natural talent for the bike.
Yeah, and you see every Olympics as well, there's always someone that comes in late to the team that then starts improving really, really quickly 4 or 5 months before the games. Okay. There's always someone. Yeah, it was Jason Kenny in Beijing, then it was me in London. Then we had Callum in 2016. And more younger guys.
Did you change anything for this? So having won it once, you're obviously you're going to want to win it again, aren't you? Because if you don't win it, that to me would be absolute failure. And you seem to me like a winner. So you've won it once. Where's your motivation then? You just want to win it again? I
guess so. It just becomes a habit. You just want to achieve. Like I don't even think about the Olympics. When I was in 2012, I wasn't thinking about the Olympics in 2016. I was thinking about, little goals leading up to it. Wanted to win a World Cup, wanted to win the World Championships, wanted to, do the Commonwealth Games. So I always set myself little goals on the lead up to the Olympics, and I guess that's where the motivation comes from, because you kind of set yourself small goals, and and then the Olympics are pretty much around the corner.
Okay, so you lead it. So any special training for the Olympics, and just carry on what you're doing?
I mean, the whole goal is Olympic gold. That's what the program gets funded off. That's where you get your lottery funding from. But I think personally, and for an athlete's head, you want to set yourself little goals. But for British Cycling Olympics, it's the biggest thing.
Incredible. And which did you find more satisfying, first or second?
Probably Rio, just because we struggled quite a lot. Chris Hoy retired from London. We struggled quite a lot to find a man 3. Me and Jason Kenny were the fastest guys in the world in our positions. We were literally just trying to find another replacement for Chris, trying to help the other guys to get better. And that was probably the challenging thing. We were close to not even qualifying for the Olympics. So it was literally the last World Cup races were, you had to win them to go to the Olympics. Wow. But then after that, the pressure was off. We could focus on special training, properly focus on the Olympics. And it just came together. 2 weeks before that, we actually knew we're probably gonna win a medal here.
Do you have a feeling your goal is to win a medal, or if you'd won gold before, was it I'm going to win gold, or would you, if you'd got silver, would that have been a disappointment for you?
The goal was just to win the medal. We would have been happy with any color medal. But then I remember in the final, when we made the final, I was thinking I'll be pretty disappointed to win a silver medal. So I wanted to win this. So
I need you on my sales team, I think, Phil. So you were awarded an MBE in 2013. Can you just tell us a little bit about that? I mean, that's incredible.
That's something you don't even think about as an athlete, to be honest. You just cycle, you start off as a hobby, and when you do it as a child, didn't even think about winning the Olympics when I first started. I just wanted to ride my bike and enjoy it. Then to be awarded an MBE, that was pretty surreal. And I've actually got it given by the Queen. So you go
to the palace for that? How were you notified? But were you aware you were going to get it?
I was in Australia in a training camp, and I had this phone number ringing me with no call ID. So I picked it up.
Wasn't the Queen.
No. And I picked it up, and they actually said that you been awarded an MBE.
Wow. Well, I'm so privileged to be able to speak to you. I'm glad we were able to inspire you with a Quooker. And I think your achievements are absolutely incredible. I mean, to win one gold medal, but then to win two, and then to embark after that on the career you are doing, I've got the utmost respect for you. I'm doing a spin marathon at Quooker International on Saturday the 19th of February. And the goal is we're trying to raise as much money as possible for Parkinson's NL. And we've got 4 hours, and I'm a little bit like you. If you can do up to 4 hours, but it's 4 hours, and I'm going to do 4 hours. And I wonder what sort of distance you think you should be aiming for. It's a static bike, and any tips you would give me to get through it. I've decided I'm going to do the 4 hours. Any advice, tips?
I think you should aim for over 80 miles. I think that would be a good achievement.
So 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And would you achieve that? So in my practice sessions, I've ridden the 4 hours, and I've done 50 minutes at a steady pace, and then the last 10 minutes in each hour I've upped the pace. Would you go with a consistent speed method, or would you look to vary what you're doing?
I think you want to, at least the first 2 hours, you just want to ride the same speed. Don't try and be a hero and go flat out, because you're going to be suffering the last hour.
Funnily enough, I did in my first one. I did the first 2 hours. I was fine. A very poor 16 miles an hour, based on what you're saying. And in hour 3, at about 3 hours 20, I cramped up a bit. And I lost a lot of pace in that last hour. And I really underestimated the liquids and the fluids you need. It was, quite traumatic afterwards.
Yeah, especially indoors as well. It's going to be hot. So you want to make sure you just drink a lot, take energy gels, eat enough. You don't want to be starting eating when you're hungry. That's when it's too late. So you want to keep fueling and drinking a lot of water on the energy drinks.
Yeah, and was that calculated for you then, the liters that you take on? But were you on a strict diet and nutrition and fluids before a race? Was that all calculated for you?
So we did a lot of like low residue diets before racing. So you try and be as light as possible on race day, because power to weight is our main thing. So you want to be light, but also not lose your strength. So we do low residue diets, and then I couldn't really eat through racing because I always had the issues with my stomach where I was throwing up a lot.
So people, sorry.
Yeah, I always throw up a lot. So I was always doing carb rinses, it's called, where you drink a energy drink with a lot of calories and carbs inside, and I just sip on them. That's how I fueled myself through race days.
I've read up on that, because I can't eat. Listen, I'm nowhere near your level, but if I do long distance, I struggle to eat, and it makes me feel sick. So I struggle with that. But was the weight to battle for you then? Is 80 kilos a challenge for you? Was that something you'd have to strip down to get to 80 kilos on a bike, or is that a comfortable?
It was comfortable. I just fed, once I was dieting, I could lose a lot more weight, but once I was dieting, I started losing power and watts on my bike, and you don't want that to happen. You want to still be powerful and strong. So once I felt weak, I was eating. So I was probably more on the more overweight side compared to my
How were you?
But I felt comfortable in it, and it was I did well with it.
You did amazing. And did you keep the gold medals with you?
Yeah, I've got them next to me right now.
Yeah, go on then. Let's see those gold medals. Yeah.
Go on then. There you go.
Wow. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much.
I have to come down to Manchester and show you.
Yeah, you will do. Absolutely. Well, I'm absolutely humbled and absolutely so grateful that you spent this time with us. And to share your story and your phenomenal success is absolutely incredible. So I want to say thanks very much from me. Thanks very much from Quooker. And look forward to speaking to you again. It's been really good to meet you.
Thanks, and I hope you raise loads of money.
I'll let you know how we do.
Yeah.